Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Play Some Video Games, the PSVG podcast, PSVG Podcast 93. I'm Donnie. I'll be your host tonight, Donnie Reese at Playing Nintendo. Joining me this lovely evening is Dev Tyus. How you doing, buddy?
I am doing great.
It's been a long time.
It has been a very, very long time.
How long has it been since you were on?
Oh, man.
E3?
Honestly, probably maybe 2-3 months, maybe.
Really?
Maybe. I could be totally wrong. It's been a while.
Terrible. We gotta do
Time
better than
flies.
that. It's time zones.
Yes.
Kevin is off this week. He needed time off, and he said, Donnie, I need you to take the podcast for me this week. And I said, sure thing. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stay up late so I can talk with Devin. That's exactly what I said to him. It was like my first message. I was like, I'm just going to stay up late with Devin. Devin has no excuse. I'm just going to go, you know what? I'm staying up. We're going to chit-chat.
Yeah, the sun is still out here. Like it's
Is it really?
Yeah.
Dude, it's 11 o'clock.
Yeah. It doesn't get dark till almost 9 o'clock out here.
I don't get time anymore. I don't understand. So, since it's been a while, why don't you fill us in, man? What's been going on?
Oh, man, that game they call life, man. This summer has been... Game? No, just actual. The hustle, the grind, whatever you want to call it. Summer's has been really busy. Me and my wife have been in a wedding. She's in another wedding in another month. Just dealing with the kids in summer school summer camp and daycare, and just both of us working. So it's just been really, really busy. So yeah, for the most part, just been playing that game of life. Wife is working on a project that will hopefully give us some more free time. So we'll see how that goes. I'll fill you guys in when we get more details on that.
So you're leaving us hanging. That sounds intriguing.
Oh yeah. That's the point. I'm trying to, leave that fruit there. Have you coming back for more. But other than that, like just been grinding. Only game I've actually played because I've had like zero time for games has been Destiny, because I wanted to get the Age of Triumph shirt. So I finally completed that and got that shirt. So that'll be on the way to go ahead and wrap it up, put a nice bow on Destiny, and be like, all right, we're done till Destiny 2.
Oh, so you say you're playing Destiny? You mean Destiny, like Destiny?
Yeah, the one. Yeah,
not Destiny 2.
No, I played the beta for one day, got exactly what I wanted out of it. It wasn't a whole lot. So there wasn't a whole lot to the Destiny beta. I mean, it had a strike, it had PvP, and then the very first mission, they were all more Destiny. It was great. I enjoyed it thoroughly. They gave you like a good taste of how the gameplay would feel, like the new supers. They gave you an idea of how the weapons would play, because the weapon slots have been totally changed from what they were in the first Destiny. All the classes have new supers, so you got to fool around with those. And then you got a taste of how the PvP is, because they completely changed that as well. It used to be 6v6. Now it's 4v4. Every mode is 4v4. So it was like a really, really good taste of how the game has evolved, some of the changes, and it was like a really, really small slice compared to the beta they gave us for D1. Because in D1 they had a whole like a patrol zone. So you had a whole like map you could go on. You actually leveled up from level 1 to 8 in the beta, and you saw way more of the game. Yeah, it was different.
That screwed me up in the first one. And the only Destiny I've ever played was the very first beta, and I had no idea what I was doing. They literally just dropped me in this gigantic area. I saw people. I shot at them. They didn't shoot at me. Like, they ran away. I didn't know if they were the people I was supposed to be shooting at. Like, I just ran around. I think I found the tower. Like, I talked to some people. I went back to that area. I tried to shoot some folks. I remember streaming it on my old personal channel.
Oh, wow.
I had no idea what I was doing. Literally, for like an hour and a half. I was like, what is the deal? Like, I don't know where to go. And I was like, this isn't for me. And that's my Destiny experience.
Yeah, Destiny 1 was very, very bad at telling you what you had to do. So yeah, it was the Destiny 1 beta was just a very, very poor intro into the game, especially if that was all you ever played, because yeah, they didn't hold your hand at all. It was just like, here's the world, figure it out. They expected you, I guess, to have some idea of how typical MMO stuff worked. But yeah, it was rough. The D2 beta was very, very different. They didn't set you down in the world. It was literally you started up, you are in a mission. Once you finish that mission, you have the director that only has one option, which is PvP. So you have two options. You have PvP or you have the strike. So those were your only options. So it wasn't a whole lot of here's the world, we're going to throw you in it, which was a detriment in D1 because you felt like you played so much of the game and then it came out and you played the exact same thing over again. So a lot of people with the D2 beta didn't like the fact that they didn't give you more. I personally appreciated that they gave us so little because then I have so much more to look forward to. I still like, other than the fact that we're fighting Gaul, who is the leader of the Cabal, or the Red Legion of the Cabal, I really have no idea what we're going to be doing. I know that there's, and I like that. I like the fact that there's so much more mystery behind it, and they really don't want to give out any kind of like tidbits or secrets or anything. So I'm a fan of that. But it was fun. Cool. I got what I needed out of it. I played it for a day, played with all the classes, and then I was done. So that was it.
What do you say about Nathan's experience? Because Nathan, I know he said it in the chat, and I think he said on the podcast, in his last podcast, he felt like it was kind of like what you said. It's just more of the same thing.
And see, for me, coming from WoW, World of Warcraft, it's the same type of idea. Like, how much do you really want to change when you have such a good formula or such a good gameplay loop that Destiny has? Like, if you're into that, you want more of that. And I agree with him. It shouldn't have been a number 2. Like, I always was hoping and didn't think they were going to put a 2 on the end of the title. I thought it would be just like World of Warcraft, where there's no World of Warcraft 2. They just keep releasing expansions with subtitles. Sure. I was expecting more of the same. I don't think there ever needed to be a 2. But I understand, after hearing some of the interviews and reading some things, why they decided to go with the 2. They wanted to be able to reset. Because of the fact that they were carrying like all of this old bad code from PS3 and the limitations of the legacy consoles, they needed to actually cut away a lot of stuff. And it ended up being them having to rewrite a good portion of the engine to be able to do more of what they wanted to do with the actual game. So I kind of get it. They wanted to be able to also kind of wipe that taste out of people's mouth of the bad experience they may have had with D1 and be able to say, okay, we're starting something new. We're starting something different. So there's a lot of changes that have gone into it, but it still feels like Destiny, which for me is a good thing. Like, I love the actual, what they call their 30 seconds of fun loop that Destiny goes for, that Bungie is going for. Like, I love that loop. So for them to leave that intact and leave the base and the core of the game and the foundation of what Destiny is for me is perfect. I want more Destiny. I'm getting Destiny 2 because I want more Destiny. So I can get the frustration, especially when you're expecting a sequel and everything to be bigger and better. I can see where it's coming from, but you also got to remember, it was a very, very small part of what the game is. It was literally a beta where you got to do 3 things, and you didn't get to see any of the patrol zones. You didn't get to see any of like the lost sectors or the adventures or any idea of what else we're going to be doing. We don't even know what the progression is like. There was no leveling in the game. So there's still so much unknown that it's hard to even say, like, have they gone bigger and better? Is this worthy of a 2? It's really hard to say because we got so little of what they've actually done.
You touched on 2 things that I think we as gamers have a long history of debating. There's 2 topics. One, I don't understand this needed justification for numbers and titles on video games. I don't really. That's not a new thing, but like, if you go back to the original days, there were so many games that were like rebranded skins of other games that were re-released with sequels and whatnot. Like, where is like the Splatoon thing? It was Splatoon worthy. It's like, who cares if they're calling it Splatoon 2? I think, who cares if it's the exact same game? Like, does it really matter? Well, I've already paid for it. Then don't buy it again.
Right.
It's a real easy decision matrix here.
I mean, I don't understand. Yeah, with, like you said, like, so it's 2, big deal. Like, if you look at a book, for example, part 2 is just a continuation of the story. So why does it have to be like reinventing the wheel for it to be a sequel?
And then the second thing is, I think you find this a lot with franchises, is there's always that balance where people go, you're not doing anything new. It's the same game. And especially with franchises, right? I've heard this argument with Zelda my entire life. But Mario, especially 2D Marios, Uncharted, Infamous, Gears of War.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. Even with Gears of War 4, they did a bunch of new stuff, and then what did you hear? They changed it so much. It's like,
you can't win. You can't win.
You always the same thing. Make everybody happy.
Yeah. It's sad, but Us gamers, we feel so entitled and we know best. But
yeah, I get it. I mean, I think it's one of those things where it always sets up that you can defend it or you can go against it, but you always have a stance to make, because I don't think they'll ever be able to appeal to everyone.
Nope.
Okay. Anything else?
Nah, man, that's been it. I'm just really excited that I was able to get the Age of Triumph stuff done, because I didn't know if I was going to have the time to actually do it, seeing as how I didn't do any of the raids just because lack of time. But I was able to grind it out and get it done, so I'm just really proud of that, because I put so much time into Destiny over these last 3 years. So to be able to actually get the shirt, get my name on the shirt, and just have that nice, just, all right, I got it done, and have that just off my plate. It's just a good feeling.
And considering I don't know anything about Destiny, is Destiny 2 going to have like a single player like story campaign that most shooters have, or are they still like doing this like MOBA Strike Friends thing?
Oh yeah, you really have no idea. Destiny 1 had a whole campaign that you could play all by yourself. So yeah, there's more of that.
Oh, okay. I was under the impression that they had like, it was like a training mission type thing, and then like you could go and read websites and stuff.
No, I mean, that's the funny thing. Like, people, if you don't play it, like, you really don't know. It's this weird new shared world shooter thing. So the way the game works is, once you load into a world, you are definitely in a world. It's like an MMO. You land into a zone, and there's going to be plenty of other people in that zone with you. However, once you get into a certain instance of that zone, it puts you in your own little bubble. So the rest of the people that are in that zone don't come in your bubble unless they're a part of your strike team. So it basically cuts you off from everybody else, so you can finish out the mission in the campaign by yourself. So there's certain places of the world that are always going to be shared amongst, everybody else that's on that server. But once you zone into a certain particular part, you're by yourself. It's your own instance of that area. So there's a full campaign that you can play by yourself or with 2 other friends. And then they have the PvP part, and they have, the strikes that'll be match made for you. So even if you don't have 2 friends, it'll automatically place 2 more people in your fire team to do the strikes, which are like dungeons. And then you have your raids that are 6 players that aren't match made. So there's a whole campaign.
Maybe one day I'll play it.
Yeah, you should.
It won't be before the end of the year, though.
I can understand.
I'm absolutely packed with stuff to play. Speaking of things that I'm playing Splatoon. Everybody in the world that has a Switch is playing Splatoon. I'm playing Splatoon. I'm not playing it as much as other people, though. And it's in large part, the main reason why is because I'm playing other things. I'm trying to like get reviews out and trying to like get through some stuff. I'm going to come back and play more Splatoon, but I can say that after I'm 30 hours into it, like I guess first 10 days, like it just came out. After about 30 hours, I'm feeling like I've already played it before. Like it's it's a 2, and it justifies the 2. There's a lot of content in there, but it is still just Splatoon.
Right.
It's like Mario Kart 8 deserves an 8, but it is still just Mario Kart. Like and I'm kind of feeling that. It's like I said this in our chat this week over on Discord, which you can find if you go and click on the Discord banner on our website.
Join us.
Yeah, come join us. Come talk to us, dude. I've been in a rut, like gaming wise, like inspiration wise, like creatively, like I've just kind of been grumpy. I don't know, like just down. Like I don't know, like I felt like I was trying to think of the best way to explain this today. Like really, like all day I was kind of thinking about our chat, which is why I didn't invite anybody else to come chat. I was like, I'm gonna have a little Devin one-on-one.
That's what's up.
I feel like I was like craving like discovery. It's like I want something new. Like I want to do something. Yeah, I want
that discovery, that big open. Let's go find something.
It didn't even be like I just wanted something to give me like an impact. Like the games that I've been playing, let's say over the last month and a half, like post Zelda and Horizon, post Nier. It's like though I played like those 3 games, and like what a great 3 games to play like in a row. Like what a year! Right. What a year this year has already been and will continue to be. Oof. But it's like after those, I was playing like I reviewed Infinite Mini Golf. In podcast only form. Listeners, if you listen and download it, if you like it, let us know. We'll keep doing it. If you don't, let us know and we'll stop. Maybe not. Maybe we won't stop. I really enjoyed that. Have you ever done that?
I have not, but I like the idea and the concept, so I definitely will do that.
It was liberating. Like once I got, because I started and stopped like 5 times because I was like, oh, I screwed up. And like once I was telling Kevin earlier, like once I just let go and was like, you know what? I'm just going to let the mic run. I'm going to do 10 minutes on this game. I don't even know what I'm going to say. I didn't write a script. I had no bullet points. Like I was like, I'm just going to hit the mic. And if I say a bunch of mess, then I say a bunch of mess. But I'm just going to give you my thoughts in this game. 10 minutes tops. That's what I try. And I think it's like 11 minutes. But I tried to hold myself no more than 10 minutes. And it was kind of fun. And like when I listened back to it, and I was like, that's actually pretty neat. Like, I think I'm going to do this more. I think I'm going to do this with Miitopia. That's the other game I've been playing. I've been playing Miitopia.
What is Miitopia? Because I've seen you guys talk about it, but I'm not the Nintendo guy, so I have no idea what Miitopia is.
Okay, so and I'm gonna review it. Miitopia is, I think, a big part, is like a culprit in how I'm feeling about my games right now. Miitopia is great. So it's Tomodachi Life meets that Mii game that they put out on their phone. I forget what it's called. I want to call it Miiverse. It's not called Miiverse, and it's not called Miitopia. I don't know what they called it. At this point, I don't even remember what they called it. It happened forever ago. But what it is, it's like baby RPG is like the best way to think about it. It's like very, very basic RPG. There's not even like a triangle to it. It's just kind of like you attack and then they attack. And if you're higher level than them, you win. And there's even like a lot of auto attacking that goes on. But what it does is it lets you build your own party, which is new. Not like with characters that but with like literally like other Miis. So like my party is myself, Jason, Seth, and Caroline. And in that regard, it's like Seth is a cook and Caroline's a thief, and I've made Jason a mage. And you can give them all like characteristics, and like Jason's the cool mage, which makes this game so much better because every time somebody attacks him, he does this hair flip and this dodge. And it's like, it's so Jason, like he's so cool, right? He's just like, don't even bother with me. And then you get like these little cutscenes with these Miis interact together. And in a way, it's kind of like you're playing with your friends. You feel that. Like you can feel it come through their Mii. It feels like you're playing together, even though it's just by yourself. And there are some funny things. That's what you get out of it. However, I'm playing it to review it, so I'm trying to beat it. So I've put like 20 hours into this game. And dude, I was bored after like hour 6. It's like, it's so repetitive. It's like the same thing.
Don't you hate that?
And over and over. And I'm just like, it's crushing my soul because I know while I'm playing and I'm like, I could be leveling up in Splatoon. Like I could be playing other things, but I'm playing this because I want to review it. Because it's not that it's bad. It's just that it feels like it's like 4 times too long. Like this would be a great like 8-hour story, and it's like 16 hours. I don't know how long. That's
the rough part sometimes about certain games. Like you want to get through them so you can go ahead and review them, but there's so much to the game that in order to get it done, it becomes this extremely repetitive thing, and you're just like, I just want it to be done so I can get this review off and be done.
Especially with this, because there's really not much here. Like outside of the battle mechanic, outside of the like a very, very minor class system. I mean, like Setsuna has like 10 times complexity than this. I mean, this really is like you give this, like I'd give this to my 6-year-old. Like this is like 6-year-old RPG. It's not 30-year-old RPG. Yeah, it's not Pokemon RPG. It's not Fire Emblem RPG, which I've been playing for years. So for me, I feel bored. I'm like, I kind of wish there was like an autoplay. Like I'm thinking like maybe I could like put a rock on my A button and just sit it down and let it automatically go through the battles and stuff for me. And there's some cool stuff. Like there's like some amiibo support, and there's some mini games that are cool. Like you play rock, paper, scissors against like this smart ass robot, and he just taunts you and stuff. And that's pretty neat. But anyway, so I've been wanting like this discovery, and I'm playing like I played Infinite Mini Golf, which I reviewed again, and it's not good. And I love golf games, and it's not bad. It's not awful. It's not good. There's nothing there. I kind of wish I didn't buy it. Like that's how good it is. It's one of those where it was only $15, and I regret spending I'm like, I shouldn't have spent $15 on this. Wow. I'm playing Implosion, which is this mobile game that came to Nintendo Switch, and it's actually pretty good. It's like a top-down 2D kind of. Honestly, it reminds me a lot of Metal Gear. It's like an early Metal Gear, but you play with like this mech suit.
Okay.
Except it's not so like puzzle based, and there's definitely not like the cool Metal Gear, like you can't smoke or hide in a box or anything like that. But like you just run around and you kill zombies through the level, and you get to the end of the level and you fight the boss and you go to the next level. It's not like it's not real deep, but it's real fun. It's only like $10. It looks real good, and actually does have a pretty decent little sci-fi tale that it weaves in between the missions. So it's not so bad. Which gets me to the point that I wanted to make.
Yeah.
I've been wanting something, and I found it. I found it last night when I finally booted up What Remains of Edith Finch.
Yes.
And I didn't even know what this game was. I mean, I knew what it was. I've known about it for a while. I mean, we've known about it for like over a year. I mean, I've been hearing about the game for a long time. Mm-hmm. But to me, the elevator pitch when I looked at it, so I'm judging a book by its cover. It was like Gone Home 2.0. It was like this walking simulator. And I was like, dude, I've played so many of those, especially after Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. I was like, I don't want to play these anymore. I did not like Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. For anybody out there listening, I did not like that game. Me and my wife played it together, and we both were like, this is awful. Like, we really did not enjoy it. It's a beautiful game. It's the only good thing I can say about it is it's really beautiful to walk around in. I just didn't enjoy the story. I didn't enjoy it. It felt boring. It felt slow. It felt plodding. So Kyle, I think, dubbed it his game of the year so far at some point along the way. And I was like, man, I guess. And then, like, I hear Seth going, I'm going to get this game, I'm going to play it and all that. And then Mo is like, it's got a good story. And I'm like, okay, so other people are playing it. And then it goes on sale. And I've got all this credit that I've been living off of like Wii U credit for like a year.
You and the amassing of the credit, and oh my God.
So, so I've been buying these things, right? I've been buying Infinite. I've been looking for something. I don't know what, but it's just something. And I was like, I'm gonna. All right, it's on sale. It's $15. It's the same thing I paid for Infinite Mini Golf. Can't be that bad. Kyle says it's the game of the year, and I boot this thing up, and it's a walking sim. And I get started, and guess what I'm doing? I'm walking through a forest, down a path, and I see a tree, and I'm like, oh God, here's the same thing. And then I get into this house. And it's like, oh, Gone Home 2.0. It's exactly what I thought it was going to be. I'm going to find some mystery, and it's going to give me some life lesson at the end and make me feel bad about my preconceived judgments. And it's not that at all. I don't want to spoil it, but dude. All right, at one point, I was flying, and then I turned into a shark and was like rolling down a hill. And I was like, what's going on in this game? And it completely caught me off guard. And I'm like, this isn't what I expected. All of a sudden, the hook's been set. I now need to see the rest of it. And I did some screenshots that I tweeted from the PSVG account. I tried not to do spoilers, so I try to take screenshots that if you have no context for, you have no idea what it is. But boy, I took a 30-second clip. There's this portion of the game where you jump into this comic book, man.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw your thing. I was like, what?
And you get
not at all what I was expecting.
The Halloween theme, and it's a dun, 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 and you should have seen me in my living room. I'm sitting there, and I'm like, oh! This is the best game I've ever. I love this. And then, so I did the whole story. It's less than 3 hours. You do it in one sitting. Kyle's not wrong. That's the best PlayStation game I've played in 2017.
You guys have me intrigued because
it really is, dude. It's really good. And the thing that I love about it, so I'll do a mini review. Did Kyle review it?
I don't remember if he did. He may have, but I feel like no. I feel like he would have seen more or heard more about it, but I don't think he did.
I told him he needed a hype man. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Because I was like, why didn't you tell me that it was this good? And he's like, I didn't want to overhype it. I'm like, you should have. I would have played it earlier if you had hyped it. I was just like, it's another walking. I'm not, and it's not. It's so good. The reason I love it, there's a couple things I thought about it all day today. Mm-hmm. Couple reasons why I think I really enjoyed it. It's short, which I feel like we're getting away from in games, and there's something to be said about that experience that doesn't leave you, it doesn't lull. There's no lulls in this game. This game is a constant progression, and it's inviting in that you're like, what's around the next corner? You don't stop, and so like my comparison for that's like episode 3 of Telltale games. Right. Like, when you're getting to episode 3, like you're just trying to get through episode 3. Mm-hmm. It's not anything. Like every game that they make, you're just trying to get to episode 4. You're not even paying attention. There's no episode 3 to this. Like every part plays into the next part, and it's woven like expertly. And there was no point where I was looking around and going, I don't know what to do. That never happened. So I was never like, I have no idea where to go. That happened and everybody's gone to the rapture. I was walking in the wrong houses. Like, it's frustrations building up because there's nothing to do and I don't know anything. Like, I don't know what to do.
Okay.
So, you're saying like, this Destiny, like I'm a linear gamer. Like if I don't see enemies to go fight,
yeah,
or wait, like I need something to do. Like I need an overall steer. Like Zelda
is saying, "Come here."
Well, it's not even a marker, but yeah, like even in Zelda, like it's very clear. It's like go beat Ganon. To beat Ganon, like take down these dungeons, and then you go do it. But at least like I'm walking towards the goal.
Right.
Like in some other games, everybody's gone to the rapture. This is one point I remember in our stream, my wife and I had no idea where we were. We were like, I don't know what to do now. Like I thought we walked in every house and apparently we missed something. And then you got to go back. I think that's the Metroid thing that you always hear me say is go back, try to figure out what you didn't do. There's none of that in Edith Finch. There's none of it. I never experienced one piece of frustration, anything. There's no lull in the story. I didn't find any of the vignettes like weaker or so much lesser than the other. They all felt equally rewarding. They're all very interesting. And interesting is the right word. Like interesting, like thought-provoking. Not like thought-provoking, like we're going to teach you, about the world and the injustice of race or anything. Like, no. There's not like some hidden, agenda. No, it's just interesting. It's like, here's a way that, here's like an awesome thing to think about. And then it's over and it's over. It's like next. And that's it. They don't go back to it. They just leave it like that for you. And I love it. It's so good. And Mo disagrees with us. He says the New Frontier, Walking Dead New Frontier has a great episode 3. Thank you, Mo. kind of missing the point, but there we go. False. Fake news, he says. Anyway, I love the game. I adore the game. It's the best PlayStation game I've played this year. It's one of the best PlayStation games I've played on PlayStation 4, period. I'm probably going to play it again.
Wow.
And I don't replay games. Yeah, I know. I don't replay games. I'm probably going to play it again.
Huh. So, yeah, you guys have me intrigued. Just like watching just the little bit of chat you guys had, I was like, what is this? They're all way too excited about this. And I'm like, it's a walking sim. Yep. There's no way.
It's the exact same way that I was feeling.
This walking sim is game of the year. Like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, there's just no way.
I was trying real hard. There are moments in it that are as good or exceed moments that I felt in Zelda. But I don't know if I could. I don't know if I can tip it over Zelda because one, Zelda's still not done yet. There's still DLC, and it's just there's so much more to Zelda, and it's just so much bigger and grander in scale, and there's so much more that I appreciate, physics and all that. But the narrative hands down crushes Zelda's narrative. I mean, it's really, really, really good.
And it's on sale, you say?
It's $15. Oh, that's the other thing I said. I honestly don't know if I've spent $15 like a better for everything that I feel bad about Infinite Mini Golf. This game made up for it and then some. I would pay $60 for Edith Finch. Like, wow. If I had known what I had known after it, like, there's no way. Like, that's the best $15 I've spent in a video game. So I used to always say, and you've probably heard me say this, for like a year, I said the best $5 you can spend in video games is Box Boy.
Yep.
Box Boy on 3DS is $4.99, and I have yet to find a better use of $5. Not on sale, like full retail, right? And I know this is on sale, but like, I think you're hard pressed to give me a better game than What Remains of Edith Finch for $15 to $20.
Okay.
I'd be listening to the listeners out there. You tell me a better $20 to spend in video gaming than that, and not, Skyrim that it's marked down, and like I meant like within release launch window, like legit game of, because this game is going to come to PlayStation Plus eventually. Like everybody's going to get a chance to play it. I do understand where Kyle's coming from though, because there's so much I want to say. And then yet I feel like I'd be robbing somebody if I said any of it. It's like, oh, you can't say any of it. You got to leave it alone. But the hype's real. The hype's real. Okay. It's great.
I've got nothing to play until September 6th. So
you definitely should play. You've got to play. Kevin's playing it.
I'll definitely check it out.
Kevin bought it today. He's like, dude, are you serious? Like, I'm like, dude, I feel like I would never steer you wrong. Like, I don't tell people to buy everything. So I don't know. I like my own opinion. Maybe other people don't like it, but I like it. And I typically, especially when it comes to spending money, I feel like I say good things when it comes to spending money.
Right. All right, well, you sold me. I'm definitely going to check it out because,
so good.
Yeah.
And it,
yeah,
I'm in a better mood today because I played that game.
When a game does that, you know it's doing something right.
Like it picked me up. I thought about it this morning. Like I was listening to the radio. I was singing. Like I had a little pep in my step. Like I was excited to come home and podcast. Like it was good, man. I digged it. It was good timing.
That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome.
So that does it for our check-in. So as Kevin says, let's get into some messages. Eric writes, and he asks, and this is great. This is another reason why I wanted just the two of us. Did Nintendo suddenly make more NES classics? So in the last 8 to 10 days, we've seen NES classics, the aforementioned dinosaur of the video game console market, never to be seen again. They were all gone. You had to pay $500 to get one, and all of a sudden, ThinkGeek were selling them. GameStop's giving 100 of them away. And if you lived in certain cities like Dev and I do, you were able to just go pick one up. For anybody that doesn't know, over the weekend, last weekend, Amazon had something out in Seattle, Dallas, Atlanta, and LA, and New York, I think. I think it was a Northeast one, called the Amazon Treasure Truck. Devin, had you ever heard of this before last weekend?
Not until you posted it. Absolutely not. I've never heard of any such thing.
So I started seeing all this buzz, and because I live in Atlanta, I started seeing a lot of it. And I was actually at a company barbecue, like my in-laws were having like this quasi birthday party and whatnot, and we were supposed to spend all day together. And I see this thing, and the first thing I've got to admit is Nintendo's scarcity marketing plan that everybody hates definitely worked, because I never wanted one of these. But after a year of watching people fight each other for them, when one of them became available, I acted. I was like, "Are you serious? They're just in the city, like the city I work at every day. They're just there." So Amazon rolled these trucks out in these various cities. They parked them. They stood up this webpage. I don't know if it was. I want to say this wasn't a thing before this weekend, but I don't know. Maybe it was, and I just never knew about it.
It actually was. Yeah, it's been a thing for, I guess, a little.
I've never heard about it until then. So anyway, so it permeated my being, and they go, "Hey, just go to this truck, and you can buy an NES Classic for $60. Not $1 more than retail. Not a bundle, not a nothing. Just go." And I was like, "Is it limited? Is there like 5 of them?" So I immediately order. I immediately share it. I tweet it. I post it. I put it in the Discord. I'm like, "Guys, this is cool." And other people in cities are doing it. The reason I bought it was mainly because, one, I mean, everybody just said it was so hard to find. But the reason I bought it, because it sounded fun. Like when I told my wife, like, because we were looking for something to do, we were already out. That helped. Like if I was at home, I may have not went. We were already out. We weren't that far away from the truck, actually. We were like within 30 minutes of the truck. And I was like, there's this truck somewhere. I thought it was going to be more cat and mouse. I was actually more excited when I first heard it, because I thought it was going to be like a Where's the game thing. Yeah, I was like, I want to go find the truck. But I was just like, there's a truck and they're just selling NES Classics. And she's like, can you reserve it? I was like, yeah, I already did. Like, do you want to go pick it up? And she was like, sure, we'll get food and we'll just take a trip into the city. And I don't know how it was where you were, but where I was, dude, there were like thousands of people there. It was a huge deal. We park in this hotel lot because it's downtown Atlanta, like Atlanta proper, big buildings and everything. And we park in this pay-for hotel lot, and we walk outside, and there's like a line around the corner, and there's people everywhere. I am afraid to report the scalpers were out in mass. I saw one dude walk away with like 15 of them. He just had them in both hands, just up and down each. I didn't know you could buy more than one.
I'm surprised they allowed that. I would have thought this would have been like one of those you buy one and that's all you're limited to type of deals.
Yeah, so did I. I asked the guy that gave me mine. He said they had 1,000. He said they walked out there that day with 1,000 NES Classics. So, and you know what? So to end my story, I bought it. I got it. I brought it home. My son has been playing Excite Bike exclusively for days. I don't know what it is about that game, but he is digging Excite Bike all of a sudden. That's his thing. He said, Dad, the NES Classic's my second favorite console next to the Switch.
Whoa.
That's huge.
Whoa.
I just hacked it and I've been playing a bunch of Tecmo Super Bowl. That's all I'm doing. And it's as good as it's ever been.
Yeah. I was shocked when you said you were going to get one because yes, you were like, I'm not, why would I get this? I've got a Wii and I have all my NES games on my Wii.
That marketing, man. It
sucked you in.
For so long, it was so hard. When it became so easy, I was like, well, I might as well.
And see, this is what frustrates me to my core. And it goes back to that ridiculous discussion we had on Twitter. That was like the longest, most ridiculous conversation ever. And it's like, okay, so these things were impossible to find. And all of a sudden, in multiple cities, you've just got thousands of them. Like, seriously, Nintendo? Like, when people wanted them for Christmas, I don't know.
I don't.
And that's what frustrates me. It's that fake shortage that they do. Like, they'll have them.
Ooh.
They'll have them, and then they just were like, okay, we're gonna tape them.
Here's a rebuttal though. Nintendo didn't sell these. For all we know, after these things were such a hot item, Amazon said, let's keep 1,000.
Like, why would you do that?
For this to put on your truck and have
a year later?
Why not? I mean, it's think about I don't know about what they were doing in LA because I think LA is such a cool town. I don't think Atlanta's not going to be like LA. Here in Atlanta, it was on the radio. Like, DJs were talking about the treasure truck. It was trending in the city on Twitter. It was the number one trending thing that day. Like, same here. It was a huge deal. Like, I had other people that I know, like GameStop managers and stuff, like, is this legit? They're like, Donnie, do you know about this? And I'm like sending them pictures of my bag. I'm like, I've already been there. And they're like, are you serious? You just walk up? I was like, I just walked up and they were like, do you want one? And I was like, I already bought it. And they're like, here you go.
Wow.
It was so easy. I don't think they made more. And the reason that I don't is because we think about it because ThinkGeek put up their ad, but you remember it was down in like 15 minutes. So they sold fast. GameStop's only giving away 100. And let's say each one of these trucks had 2,000 on it. That's like 10,000. Right. So that may sound like a lot, but if Nintendo made 2 million of them, 10,000's like marginal. You know, that's a very small amount of them. So the news may have been big.
Right.
But I don't think necessarily Nintendo made. I don't think Nintendo would make just 10,000 of them. Like if Nintendo's going to redo the NES Classic, they're going to make a couple million. I don't.
Right. It's so weird because I don't understand why Amazon would be like, all right, we're just going to hold 10 grand of these back so we can do this treasure truck thing. Or ThinkGeek. Why does ThinkGeek have them? Why does where did GameStop get 100? Like
ThinkGeek has them because GameStop has them. Now think about this.
Where'd they get them? Did they get them
from GameStop? They held them. They held them. So those guys that were walking out with 15 in each hand were really just GameStop employees. They're just going to buy them. That's hilarious. That's because ThinkGeek, they wouldn't let you buy them. You had to buy them in bundles. You had to buy and a Mega Man helmet or and a Zelda lamp. So that wasn't as cool. Like and when that went up, I could have bought one. I went to the page while it was open. I was like, I'm not buying any of this garbage. $150. This is terrible. But it was when Amazon was like, this thing that's really hard to find, this Nintendo thing, $60. It was like, man, I spend $60 on games all the time. Like when it came down, I was like, oh, I should probably get one. It was just so easy at that point.
Yeah, I definitely blasted it out to all my friends who were in LA. A couple of them got them. Unfortunately, I live in Bakersfield, which is a 2-hour drive to LA. So my friends out here were like, we're not going to try and go to the treasure truck. But my boy who got one said, yeah, the line was insane. There were people everywhere. It was a huge thing. It was definitely trending in LA. They were talking about it on the radio as well. This was huge. Like this, Amazon is doing just all kind of just crazy, awesome things. They're taking over the planet.
I signed up for treasure truck alerts.
Yeah, I did too.
So I mean, that's why you hold 10,000 of them. I wonder how many people signed up for the alerts thinking like someday in the future I'm going to need this.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Mean, it's genius marketing. It's genius marketing. Like we're gonna have these trucks. They're gonna roll out. You never know when it's gonna pop up. The treasure truck is gonna be in your area with some crazy item that's hard to find or whatever. So it's awesome. I don't want to know. I want to know where they got them from. They better not do this with the SNES Classic, or I'm gonna be pissed.
Ooh, we'll get there. We'll save that. I really wish it though. I wish it was a game. I wish I had to go find the truck.
That would have been really cool.
When I first saw it. When I first saw the page, like when I first saw it, that's what I thought it was. I was like, "This is awesome. We're gonna go search the city for this truck that has lights and stuff." and then it was like, no, it's right here on the corner. And it's right. And I was like, oh.
I mean, you got to wonder how long that would last. Because if somebody finds a truck, they just, post a picture on social media and then everybody knows what the truck is. So unless you're the first person to find the truck by following some clues or whatnot, the game ends pretty quick, I would think. Just because of how social media works nowadays.
Kevin and Mo say this show needs more Kevin and Mo. So,
well, then they should have joined us. They should have had the option. You had the opportunity, Kevin. You chose otherwise.
You had the power.
Poorly.
Matthew asks, I don't know if you caught this rumor. I think this is a new one. This came out earlier today. With buzz that Virtua Studios is porting a AAA game for Nintendo Switch, what game do you think it could be, and what? Or what would you want it to be? So Virtua Studios is a port company. They did Batman and Assassin's Creed Ezio collection. So they ported that stuff. And this all goes back to like a LinkedIn page where some employee said he was working for Virtua Studios on a AAA game for Nintendo Switch. So I'll let you start. What do you think it is? What would you want it to be?
It's really, really hard to say. I mean, they've done a lot of ports. Like they did Heavy Rain, they did the Final Fantasy ports. It could be anything. I would want to say, just based on how the Wii U had that one special edition of Batman,
so good.
Batman Arkham City.
So good.
I want to say that there's a very strong chance that this would be Return to Arkham. They might port that to Switch. I think that would be awesome. I love those games. So I think that it would be a great port. But it could also be the Assassin's Creed stuff. So
was the Return to Arkham was the HD remastered double pack? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was going to say I'd be willing to bet a bunch of money. Not a bunch. I don't bet money, but if I had it to bet, that it's a game that they've already ported. They're going to take a port that they've already ported. So I would look at the Ezio collection or the Batman collection.
Yeah, that would be my guess as well.
Yeah, and HD collections are great. They're cheap. They offer a lot of value to a gamer, especially if you've never played them before or if you haven't played them in a while. And those Batman games are amazing.
Yeah.
Batman sells, Assassin's Creed sells, but Batman sells, I think, has more brand. I want it to be Final Fantasy because I think we're missing. I think Xenoblade's going to prove this. We're missing that strong RPG platform that the Switch is rife for. Like all that Vita stuff, all that JRPG stuff, all that stuff needs to come Switch's way. And I think it is. And I think a port of an old one would really demonstrate. And I think when Xenoblade Chronicles 2 hits, I think people are going to see, I think it's going to sell well, relatively speaking for a niche game. It's going to sell well. And then I think you're going to hear a lot of people, it's going to be the opposite of Persona 5. Like Persona 5 is going to be like, a great game. Wish I could play it on my Vita. Right? What we're going to get like Xenoblade Chronicle 2, we're going to get like, really good game. Love that I can play it on my Switch. We're going to get like the opposite. And I think so. I was thinking like an RPG, but Batman makes the most sense.
Yeah.
All right. This is a good question. Coach Mo wants to know why sports games don't gain any Game of the Year traction, especially considering the amount of copies that major sports games sell, like Madden, NBA, FIFA, versus other Game of the Year contenders, like recent Game of the Year nominees or winners, things like The Last of Us, Uncharted 4, and Gone Home, and things like that. And even he's got a massive point because FIFA like almost outsells everything. FIFA is like one of the biggest sellers, largely because it's so appealing across the entire world. But even just here in our territory, like Madden outsells most games, year to year.
Yep.
So what do you think?
So this goes back to that whole discussion we had earlier about it just being repetitive where you're doing the same thing over and over again. I think sports games more than any other game fall into that category where it's like, but it's just more Madden. It's the same basic game. There's some extra things. I know most probably like there's way more things that they've done in this Madden compared to last year's Madden. And while that may be true, like what we've seen with like 2K and all the new stuff they've added to the GM mode, the fact that you can create a shot like your jumper and they've got all kind of just extra like weird little add-ons that you would never expect. But yet when you break it down to its core, it's still just, sports game. It's basketball. It's soccer. It's football. So I think a lot of times those games, other than people who like really, really just grab on the sports games, they don't propel like, the mass media to talk about them in a way that everybody is like, oh my God, this is amazing. The same way you would get when they talk about Zelda. Zelda's like this brand new, just, amazing experience that's never been done before, where even though they've added all of these different features to Madden and Live and FIFA, it's still football, so people aren't as excited about it, So I think that's why a lot of times they don't get those game of the year considerations, because of the fact that it's an annualized franchise where at the end of the day, it's still just sports. You're still going to put the ball in a hoop, put the ball in a goal, score a touchdown. So nothing really changes with that. So most people who don't play sports games aren't looking at those games, where with like a What Remains of Edith Finch, you're going to get people like, what is that? And they're going to be more drawn to play that than they're going to be drawn to play basketball, because it's just basketball. So I think that's part of the reason why they don't get those game of the year considerations, even though we know FIFA sells more than anything else in the planet. Like FIFA is just a monster. So
I think this is a fake news sentiment, because I think that I agree with you. The reason that people, I wouldn't say the reason. Here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say what's the best word? The fact that people hide behind is annualization. That's the excuse. That's what the word I was looking for. Annualization is the excuse. The reason that sports games don't get more game of the year consideration is because of the outlets that we deem worthy enough to claim a game of the year, the ones that we respect, because there are people that name Madden game of the year, just nobody, it's like Operation Sports. Right. I know that they name game of the year, but it's just a sports cast. Like nobody really, and like the Game Awards with Jeff Keighley, they throw sports into the racing category. And like one year Mario Kart won. It was ridiculous. Mario Kart's not a sports game.
Nope.
It's not even really a racing game. I mean, I agree that you race, but I wouldn't call it a racer. It's like a party game. But anyway, the media outlets that we allow to have this type of judgment, they don't play sports games. Or it's not they don't play them. That's a blanket statement. It's not true. They don't appreciate sports games like they do exclusives, narratives, adventure games, open world games. And they definitely don't really offer a whole lot of critique or coverage on annualized games. So I think it's these mediums, the IGNs, the GameSpots. I mean, let's just be honest. I'm throwing Jeff Keighley in the Game Awards. These are the outlets, and they're not gonna prop Madden, because they're gonna say everything you just said. Madden, it's the same Madden as before, and I know it's not.
We all know it's not, but they're not going to go in depth like Operation Sports does.
Exactly. In my own defense, in 2016, my game of the year was NBA 2K16, because I thought it was the best basketball game I've ever played. Like, I was like, this is on a whole new level, guys. Like, this junk is serious. If you haven't played this game yet, you probably should, because, I don't jump in every year like Mo does, but I think I get like maybe 2 to 3 sports games per sport a generation. Like I'm like that every third year. Like I need that jump,
Right.
I was kind of hoping that maybe Madden's story mode, let's say they had an Edith Finch type narrative. They're not. Like, I don't think anybody's expecting that. But if they did, like, let's say Mo gets this game and he's just like blown away by this kid's story. He's like, guys, this narrative, I was hoping that maybe them going out on a limb and doing something new like that, but I still don't think it would be enough. I don't think it'd be enough to even get on people's short lists.
Yeah, I think if it was, it would have been last year with FIFA. Like they would have gotten more traction. Like I don't remember hearing anything from those outlets about FIFA's, story mode, or even like the road to the show with NBA, with MLB The Show. Like you don't hear about that stuff. Like they have these modes where they do so much more than just play the sport. But like you said, the mass media that we deem worthy enough, they don't go in depth with these games. They play them. They'll play through a franchise. They'll play through a season. They'll do some of the My Career, some of the GM stuff, and then okay, we're just going to push to the side because we've got all these other games, and sports are just sports games. They don't get the credit they deserve, honestly.
Sure.
Like when you look at the depth of an NBA 2K and what they do with those games.
So good. I'm scared. I'm fretting over my Nintendo Switch NBA 2K.
Oh my god!
Do you see that it's going to be digital at launch? Yeah. Physical's coming. Oh no! I just got off of another podcast, which we'll promote later. But I was telling that podcast, I was like, I feel like Switch came out, people sat on the fence. They're like, let's see what happens. it has really good short-term success. They're like, oh crap, we got to get a game on it. And now it's just like full steam ahead, like run, go, 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 get something on it. And now we're going to like pay for that in year one, where we're going to get like these half measured ports, and they'll fix it. Right. By the time the physical, it'll get patched. It'll get well, just like your NBA playground garbage. Like it will get better, but we're going to have to wait, and we're going to have to grind our teeth through it. The last thing I want to say, Seth brought up a great point, or at least a great analogy, is that this is basically the same argument that folks have with movies. And it's because of the outlets, the medium. Like, think about the Oscars, right? The people that are voting on the Oscars, they're like past directors, they're past like writers, they're past critics. Most of them have like journalism degrees. Like, these folks are supposed to not have bias, but by their very background, they have a biased opinion. And that's why often Batman, the highest grossing movie of the year, never gets mentioned for anything, because it didn't tell a story. It didn't move the medium forward, or, it doesn't have the world's best, leading role, or somebody didn't bring you to tears. It doesn't fit the critique. And you look at our outlets that we give the privilege to naming the game of the year, and what are they? I mean, they're journalism majors, reporters, a lot of them probably, I would say, I don't know about a lot might be wrong, but it's probably a lot of them didn't like grow up wanting to write about video games. Like they just grew up like maybe wanting to write, and like maybe they just got into it because they were a good writer, and they think they're being like unbiased journalism majors. Like, I don't know how many of them grew up playing Madden. Right. Like how representative are they of the 15 million people that buy FIFA every year? Exactly. I know some are. I definitely know some are, but the majority aren't.
They all work for Operation Sports.
Well, like Danny O'Dwyer comes to mind. Like, I know dude just freaking loves him some soccer games. Like, he always does Pro Evo, and he always brings it up, and he always says it, and I can see that it's in him. Like, it's rooted into him. He loves those games. But he's God, he's like the only one I can think of besides him and the Operation Sports. I don't know anybody else.
I can't think of any guys from IGN that are like, big into the sports games, or even GameSpot. Like, I can't think of anybody. Like, there's never any spotlight on those games. It's like, Madden's here. It's, it's an 8, it's 9.
And even a lot of those games, like Madden, that's like freelance work.
Yeah, exactly. It's
like they port that out to that's not even staff. They're like, they find like a big YouTuber that plays Madden. They're like, won't you come review Madden for us? Because nobody here wants to play it.
So sad. Hey, Mo, go do some freelance work, bro.
hey, Mo could do it. That's why we have him. Jonathan wants to know, do you hate Nintendo locking Metroid Samus Returns hard mode behind an amiibo as much as he does?
Yes.
You're not even going to play the game.
I'm not, but I'm so against that. And it's funny because I'm like,
I'm so excited. I'm so excited that you said that for our next question.
Do you even need a hard mode? Metroid is hard. You don't need a hard mode for that.
So, devil's advocate, you just said, do you even need a hard mode? Why would you be upset with them unlocking behind Amiibo if you don't even think it's necessary? What do you care?
Because there's some, honestly, let's put it this way. If they could make the hard mode just the original way the game played, where you don't have a map.
Just hard.
Just hard. Like that's fine. Because I'm sure in this version of Samus Returns, we're going to get more of the Metroid Fusion, the Zero Mission type game where you actually can bring up a map and you can look and you can see where you got to go. Where the original Metroid, there wasn't no map. You had to basically like figure that stuff out on your own and backtrack and draw your own map, stuff like that. So if they do that as the hard mode, that's going to be awesome. But why would you hide that behind Amiibo when you already know Amiibo are hard to find as it is? So you have this select few people who are going to be able to get this Amiibo and be able to play this hard mode who probably may not even play the game. They just want to collect the Amiibo. So it really bothers me that they would want to hide something like that behind this product that it's already difficult to find as it is.
Okay. Actually, that point, your last point, I think is the best point I've heard on the topic. All right. So just to catch folks up, Metroid Samus Returns has 3 Amiibo support. So the new Metroid Amiibo unlocks the Metroid marker, a tool that finds nearby Metroids. It's going to like, I don't know, blink or chirp or something. And then a fusion mode, which is the hard mode, and a fusion suit. Samus Aran, which is the new Amiibo, the new Samus Amiibo, unlocks reserve energy tank. And then Smash Metroid, which is Samus Aran and the Zero Suit Samus, unlock reserve missile tanks. All right. My opinion on it is I really don't care. I don't think any of this stuff, a lot of people always go, Amiibo should just do cosmetics. I kind of look, I don't really think a hard mode being on, locked behind a paywall is really something, because I've got tons of games that have hard modes that I never play. Like I understand that like they used to be there and people are clinging to that and they're trying to draw that line in the sand, and I'm fine with that, but I can't support it when I don't play hard modes. So if I'm not playing them, why would I care? I'm not going to pretend like I do. I know it's not the most consumer thing ever, but I look at it from this standpoint. They're making Amiibo, and as somebody that has Amiibo, and I've transferred all mine to cards now, except I got that Pikmin Amiibo, which is fantastic.
How long are they going to be there before it's a card, though?
No, I just bought it because it looks cool. That's the only reason why I bought it. Because they're making Amiibo and they've incorporated it into their business, I think it's good when they do lock valuable things behind the Amiibo. Valuable things, not just cosmetics. As somebody that has Amiibo, I appreciate it more. So there's like a balance there, right? You got the people that go, I don't have to buy an Amiibo, but then you got the people that are like, I am buying Amiibo. I am supporting you. Give me something that these other people aren't. I'm giving you more money. Like, don't give me another Kirby suit. Like, give me a new mode. Give me a new level. Like, I think that's cool. I don't mind it. I think it's them. Like, I think you can play this game without the hard mode.
I agree.
It just don't, it's just like earlier. Was it Deserver 2? It's just don't play the hard mode. If you don't want to buy an Amiibo that bad,
I totally get that. Totally get
it. But you are right. If this Amiibo is hard to find, and they've done a better job, I can't recall an Amiibo outside of the Zelda ones, which have all been restocked. Like, you can walk into any GameStop now and buy them. Most of them, I think. Even since I've sold mine, I've been able to walk. I could have replaced them all if I wanted to for retail, like straight price. They're doing better. If these are really hard to find, I do agree with you. It's going to suck if there's somebody out there. It's like, I want to play hard mode and I can't find the damn Amiibo, and I would buy it if I could find it. That's going to suck. But let's see if that happens first. Because I don't know if Metroid,
that's the other thing I was going to say.
Metroid's not going to fly off the shelves, dude. It doesn't sell that well.
System sell. It drives me nuts because it's such a good game. And I will say, like, the energy tank and the missile tank, those are necessities. When you get down to nitty gritty,
I'm using my
you need Amiibos. Those.
So I'm using my Smash Amiibos. I'm not getting the new ones, but I'm going to use the ones that I have for sure.
Darn Amiibo. They
make
me angry. I like them. I think
my cards are awesome.
If I had, a man cave and a shelf, I would probably have a lot of Amiibo, just because I still, like a lot of the Nintendo franchises.
And I like Destiny toys and stuff. Yeah, it's cool.
Exactly. I like collectibles, so I would definitely have Amiibo. I've been tempted to buy some of them, even though I have no Nintendo systems that they would ever work on. But I've been very tempted to buy like a lot of the Zelda ones, a lot of the old school stuff. I just haven't done it.
I've pre-ordered the new Zelda ones. The card forms. I have a card maker. I was like, just go ahead and ship these to me first. Okay. Here's what you've been. And if you notice in the notes, I've been chalking this thing full of Destiny talk just for you.
I appreciate that.
So, Devin, Activision had an earnings call this week, and the Activision CEO Eric Hirshberg said some interesting stuff. One of the things he said is Destiny is so engaging that the follow-on content, i.e. DLC, is almost as important, if not as important, as the main game itself. Kalo asks, why is this important content not in the game?
So there's a very simple answer and there's a more convoluted one. The simple one is this. It's an MMO. You have to have content that keeps coming. So the reason why it's just as important as the main game is because once you're done with the main game, you want to have more content to play. So just like World of Warcraft, every expansion is just as important as the main game. But if you put it in the main game, then you have no extra content to keep people playing. So that's the very, very just simple. You got to have more content.
They would play it the same. It's like they would play it the same amount of time if it was in the game.
You'd be done with it.
The only thing that they wouldn't be able to do is charge more for it. They'd still play it the same 100,000 hours it takes to beat it. You just wouldn't be able to piecemeal it out. And
it's not done. Like the content the follow-up content, like they're still working on that. They're finishing up the main game, and then they have, team 2 that's working on the DLC. Once the game launches, they'll have a patch team and you'll have the DLC team. So it's just like any other MMO. It's not in the game because it's still being worked on. This isn't like a game that it comes out and it's done. Like there's just more stuff that's going to keep coming and keep coming. Like WoW has been out since 2004. It's 2017. They just launched an expansion last year. Like the game just keeps going and keeps growing and keeps evolving. And that's why those content packs, DLC, extra campaigns, like all that stuff is just as important as the main game because it keeps the player base. It keeps you playing the game. It keeps you engaged. It keeps you coming back. But if you put it all in the main game and then they're done with it, then you're done. You're not playing about it. You're not talking about it. You're not playing the game. You're not in that space anymore. So that's why it's not in the original game. It's the extra stuff that they're working on to keep you coming back, to keep you playing.
Okay. I've come up with some points that I'd like you to bounce off of. But before I do that, let's have Devon Johnson here in the chat says, it's better to have things given in bite-sized pieces. It's easier to digest and appreciate the content that they create. So we've got a supporter there. Right. Somebody is not going to play Destiny. I have no real fight here. However, I do have a couple points that I'd like to make, maybe trying to defend Kalo a little bit and then let you have back off of it. And we've been talking about DLC quite a bit already on the night. And, you know, people, there's always this, you know, they're locking like hard mode. They're locking these modes that are in the game behind these other purchases, you know, and people don't like it. But then you have a game like Destiny comes out and you have a lot of Destiny fans going, I don't mind it. I'm going to buy it anyway. And so the point I'm trying to make is I feel like when you're a fan of the series, you just like it and you don't care. When you're not a fan of the series, you can be more critical. So for me to be more critical, 2 points I want to make. Destiny 1 has that vanilla Destiny tag. You'll hear that a lot. Vanilla Destiny wasn't that great. And it wasn't until the Taken King and these other things came along that it really started to get good. So the first question I wanted you to ask, or that I wanted to ask you, is how much did those packs cost? Like, how much did you pay for Destiny? Like Destiny, not vanilla Destiny, Destiny.
Let's see. I think the original game was $60. So
right.
I got the collector's edition, so I spent way more, but you're looking at $60. Now, when you throw on those two first DLCs, I believe it's additional $30. So for $30, you got an expansion in the fall, which was the Dark Below, and then you got the House of Wolves in the spring, more like summer because it came out in May.
So it's $90.
Yeah, $90 for a game that literally you could play and have new content coming throughout the year.
Sure.
Then the Taken King, which came out, you know, the following fall, I believe that was an additional, I think it was either 30 or I want to say it was $40. I think that was $40. And that one had additional content that kept coming throughout the year, but there was nothing else that you had to pay for. So it was just that.
Was there a season pass?
The season pass was only in the first game, and that was at $30 for you paid for the Dark Below.
The first 2 packs.
Yeah, the first $2. Okay. If you bought those packs separately, like individually, they were $20. So by getting the season pass, you only spent an additional $30.
I'll say so. Destiny, if you wanted to play everything Destiny 1 had to offer, you were like $150 or more.
Yeah, more when you think about Rise of Iron because they had another expansion.
Oh wow. Okay. All right, and I don't mind that. I think it's fine. But here's the point I want to try to make: in a shooter market where almost every other shooter is going less paid for DLC, more cosmetic transactions. We don't want to split the player base. We want everybody to stay together. We're going to offer you the most we can for your $60 investment, and you're going to get the DLC. You're going to get the other stuff. I mean, I don't want to say it's wrong. I don't want to try to paint that picture. But if I am the person that's not buying Destiny, let's say I was interested and I was weighing my options, that would kind of weigh heavily on me. I'd be like, well, why do I want to buy a $200 Destiny game by the time it's all said and done when I can just buy Star Wars and I'll just get free DLC, or I can buy Splatoon and I'll get free DLC, or I'll just buy Call of Duty and I'll get free DLC. Like, why am I going to pay so much more money for a shooter when I have these other shooters that are kind of going against the trend?
Wrong comparison. It's not a shooter. It just happens to be a game where you use guns.
Okay.
When you really break it down, Destiny is more MMO, more Borderlands type game than anything. It's not something that I would compare to a Battlefront or a Call of Duty or your traditional shooter, because like once you're done with that campaign, they're not adding to the campaign. They're just adding maps for PvP for the most part. Now, Destiny, all of their add-ons are more campaign stuff. It's more things to do. It's more gear to chase. It's more guns to get. It's more exotics. It's more story. So in that aspect, like if you compare it to the traditional DLC of the shooters, like a Titanfall or a Call of Duty, where they're adding more PvP stuff and they're not adding to the campaign of the game, then the comparison doesn't work. So what you're paying for more levels. You're paying for more strikes, more missions, more story, more PvP stuff as well, more maps, and just more content to go through. Stuff. You're paying for more stuff, more grind, honestly.
I got you.
Really want to break it down. So you can't compare it to the traditional shooter in that aspect because they're giving you so much more. And the game evolves from year 1 through year 3. You went from a level cap of 30 to a level cap of 40. And within that, there was so many more changes and aspects and more story and more content to actually go through, where if you look at year 3 of like Call of Duty Black Ops, it's just more maps for you to run around and kill people. Maybe they add the zombies mode and stuff like that, but it's still not adding to the campaign, because your character in Destiny, it is the same character in your campaign as it is in the PvP. Like, you're just carrying that character through that entire 3-year cycle of everything.
I got you. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And Devon and Mo, they both agree with you in the chat. And, you know, Devon says most other shooters rely heavily on multiplayer instead of storyline. So that's good stuff. The last point I wanted to make is, where is that line? Mm-hmm. If Destiny 2 starter pack base game is as vanilla as Destiny 1's was, are you upset? Or do you not care? Do you expect more? Like, as a consumer, like, having known the story, I would hope Destiny 2 delivers a lot more than Destiny 1 did at launch.
So for me, I would be fine if it was, for the most part, around the same amount of story. I'd be a little disappointed because I do want more, because I love that world. And I would want them to do more. But for me, I love that world so much, and I love the lore of it. Like, when everybody says there's no story in Destiny, there's a ton of story. They just implemented it wrong. They made you have to go outside of the game to look at these Grimoire cards to get all this story that you were unlocking in the game, but you had to go outside of it to get it. Now, they've changed that for D2, where all the story is in the game. They've gotten rid of the Grimoire cards, much to my chagrin, because I love reading that stuff. I'm a huge reader, so you give me more content to read and to look at when I'm not playing the game. I can still be looking at stuff in that world. I'm all about that. So for me, that experience I loved. But for D2 and what they're trying to do, and you know, the big thing about D2 is that, you know, up through level like 26, once you finish that campaign, you hit this wall where you had no idea what to do. You know, it was really, really difficult to understand, okay, I have to do this raid, but I'm not high enough level to get into this raid. So what am I supposed to do? So you get a lot of people drop off before you can get into the raid. So they didn't even make it to, like, you know, expansions and stuff like that. So if they did that same type of thing, I would be disappointed. I would be totally upset. And it would not be worth the admission, because once again, you're stuck in this thing where you have no clue what to do, which is going to alienate all of the people who may want to give Destiny a second shot. So that would be very disappointing if they didn't fix that. So if they did the exact same type of thing of vanilla, I would still be on board, because I have the season pass coming. I know there's going to be more content. I know it's going to evolve, but for your general consumer, yeah, I would be upset with that. I
would hope that they do more, just knowing that there's so much coming later that you're going to have to pay more for, that I would hope that there's more. You know, the other game that I was thinking, or I kind of lost it and I just remembered it, was GTA 5. Yeah. They've got their online mode. It's not a shooter, and I know it's not the same thing, but that thing has new content dropping every month, and you just paid $60 for it. And like, that thing's been going. Didn't they just post their highest? They just posted their highest profitable month, like 2 years after that game.
But all of that online content is still multiplayer. It's all the multiplayer stuff. They didn't add anything.
Yeah, but they have new modes and like missions and stuff, though, right? Yeah, like, don't they they do like theme weeks and stuff like that? That's pretty cool. I know it's not the same. Stuff. I'm just saying, there's a lot of other games that aren't doing this approach, and then you have Destiny doing this approach. I think it's interesting that they stand out. You know, like
GTA is such a
monster.
I can't believe it is still in like the top. That game came out on PS3, and it's still in the top 10 like games. So like,
I think it has serious claim to the best game of the generation. I agree. The code in that game, the amount of content, the things that you can do, the story that's like, it's infinite. Like, it's ridiculous. There's so much. You can golf or race or rob banks or jump off of buildings or ride. Like, you just do anything. It's amazing.
And like you said, like they don't charge for any of that extra content. Like you buy the base game and you've got everything. It's insane.
All right, that wraps up the mailbag. It was a good mailbag this week. Thank you so much, listeners, for sending stuff in. Remember, you can always send us questions at podcast@playsomevideogames.com or tweet at us at PSVG. So let's talk some news. August is finally here. It's August 5th. Now that's midnight my time, August 4th. And dude, 2017, I asked this question on the podcast earlier, and I think we're going to have to ask this question here very soon. I think 27 is making a strong claim to be the best year of video game releases ever.
Absolutely.
It's seriously, and it starts this month. I mean, I know it's already started. We've already had games like Edith Finch and Zelda and Horizon and Persona and Nier. Like, it's already been a great year, and I feel like I'm missing Neo, and like there's that, what's that Ubisoft game that everybody like, For Honor? You know, like there's so many games. Like, it's so good already. But August feels like the month that it ramps. So I just wanted to take a brief moment to let the listeners know what to expect, and then maybe have us tell us what we're looking forward to. So Tacoma's out. It came out yesterday or the day before. So it just came out. Uncharted: The Lost Legacy drops this month. Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle drops this month. Yakuza comes out this month. Sonic Mania comes out. Madden. There you go, Coach Mo. Matterfall, Life is Strange, Hellblade, Lawbreakers, saving the best for last. So everybody's golf dropping in over in the PlayStation 4. Devin, man, where can people find you playing? What can people find you playing here in August?
Okay, so I want to play Matterfall. That game looks awesome. Man, that game looks so good. Everybody was on, what was the other game they just released?
Next Machina.
Yeah,
another game of the year. Like this, so much stuff.
That company, God, I love what they do. But Next Machina, I was like just over third person, like top down shooters, or I was done with those games. I'm like, okay, this Matterfall looks something more along the lines of what I want to play. So I definitely am going to jump into that. Hellblade is also another one because it just looks weird and it just looks awesome. I love games like that. It looks
budget
like
game,
crazy, but it's AAA budget game. It looks very
it looks amazing.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I probably will play Madden. I have a very, very large Madden fan base of friends who they buy consoles to play Madden and Madden only. So I'll probably play that with them. And if Mo gets it on PS4, I want to play with him and have him kill me because I suck at Madden.
You guys got to stream it.
Yeah. The one game that Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, I'm just not excited about that game.
I'm so excited about that game. And I didn't think I was going to be. Honestly, 2 months ago, I was like, that was on my "you're probably out" list. And it's just, the more I see it, the preview marketing that they're doing is selling me on this game. And there's the big elephant in the room, and that's the Naughty Dog brand. Yeah. I trust them so much. You know, it's just like they haven't let me down in so long. It's like they just keep, and not only have they not let me down, it feels like they just keep getting better. Yeah. Like every new Naughty Dog comes out, it just gets better than the last Naughty Dog game I played. I'm just like, oh, this is so good. I respect them so much, but this one, I'm all about seeing like where Chloe goes. Like I'm really into this Chloe idea. I love Chloe, just period. I think a lot of people do. I don't know, right? Chloe's don't they? Awesome. Like she's cool, like she's sexy and she's badass. Like I like Chloe, like in all the same reason I like Bayonetta. I want to see what Chloe does. But also like this open world, like real open world, like big environment kind of has me intrigued because I'm looking at it kind of like, I bet Last of Us 2 has a lot of Uncharted: The Lost Legacy in it. Like I kind of feel like they're like, let's take a concept that we're thinking for Last of Us and let's take the Uncharted engine and material and let's see if we can't come up with like a concept, right? It's like a proof. Like, does this really work? Yep. And that's why we're getting like this spin-off, like this B tier. You know, I feel like they're proving a concept with stuff they already have, which I think is brilliant. I think more Ubisoft does it all the time. You know, like Assassin's Creed and Far Cry, and you know, they all share so much stuff, and Nintendo does it with like almost every game they have. Like they do a Kirby game, and all of a sudden a year later, a Mario game comes out, has all the same stuff the Kirby game, you know. So I think I feel like that. I feel like we're gonna see some stuff from The Last of Us that this game's gonna have, you know, on a much bigger scale by the time 2 comes out, but you know, conceptually at the base level. But that plus Chloe plus Naughty Dog plus seeing it run and just how pretty it is, and just I'm in. Like I'm in. I'm excited.
I don't know. I think it just comes down to me liking
the
Tomb Raider. Yeah, Tomb Raider, what it does, where you have the upgrades and all of that stuff, where with Uncharted, like I love the stories. I love that world, but I'm not ready to go back to it yet. I think that's basically what it boils down to. I'm not ready to go back to that formula where I don't have upgrades. There's not a whole lot. There's not unlocks. My guns, once you're out of bullets, are just okay. Toss them to the side till you find something new. I'm not ready for that. So I'm
seriously almost perplexed. I think I've brought this up to you. Surprised they haven't brought some of that over, because some of that, there was like minor levels of that in The Last of Us, and
like
that didn't come over in Uncharted 4 or anything. None of that happened.
I love the crafting table in Last of Us. If you could just give me just that in an Uncharted game, I'd be all about it, because I like being able to do stuff like that, being able to unlock and upgrade my stuff and not just have to run with the same whatever guns and they're just throwaways. Like I like being able to craft and upgrade. So if they were to throw that in there, I would be all about it. But the regular just Uncharted formula has been pretty much the same since Uncharted 1. Like it doesn't give me that excitement. The world, the beauty of it, the story, Chloe, that gives me excitement, but the gameplay is just where I'm just like, I
feel the exact same way about Assassin's Creed. Like almost like everything you're saying, I feel exact. I'm so just done with, and you know, it's not just Assassin's Creed, because I kind of lop like Assassin's Creed. I kind of throw some Horizon in there. Everything I saw from Days Gone, like I'm just like, I'm kind of done with the go sneak up in the bushes, climb over the building, drop down on the people. Like I have really done a lot of that, and I need a break.
What's funny is if I could put a bow in Uncharted, I would play that right away. I don't know what it is. But there is just nothing like getting a headshot with a bow. I don't know. You give me a bow and I'm in it. I don't know what it is about it, but oh man, bow, they're so satisfying.
Okay, so Coach Mo's gonna be playing Madden, of course. Coach Mo's been saying all the nice things about Tacoma. At some point, I'm probably gonna have to give that a try. But for me, I'm definitely playing Uncharted Lost Legacy. If you haven't learned that already, I'm definitely playing Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle. It looks great. I can't wait. It looks so much fun. But when it comes out, I'll almost be exclusively playing Everybody's Golf. The moment I get my hands on it, I'm probably going to play it for a week straight. And I've got serious concerns about this game. I worry about, you know, it's launching budget price, $40. I'm worried about their DLC plans, because it seems like they're going to sell a lot of extra add-on. And that's been the way this game's been going. For a while. Like they did that with Vita, and they did it with their last PlayStation 3 entry. Like they've been doing a lot of like, here's some golf, and then here's a bunch of clubs and a bunch of balls and a bunch of courses and a bunch of caddies that you can buy extra for. My biggest problem with Everybody's Golf is that there is no course, like there's no character roster. At least it didn't look like it from the beta. Everything now is you create your own avatar, and I think there's like some avatar sharing. So if you see one, like the one that's going around is Yoshida, you can play as Shuhei. So it looks like you can, if you see a avatar that you like, you can save them. But I kind of really loved the character appeal that the Hot Shot series has had forever. The one I always go back to is Out of Bounds. They had like Shaft looking dude. They had like this mob boss. They had like this bingo lady. I mean, that like, and they were so funny and charming. And they had like these voiceovers that like for each one that was individual. And I loved like the campaign of like grinding your way to get better, to unlock every character along the way.
Right.
And I'm a little worried that if that's not there, I worry about the like how much I stick with it. Because if it's just me playing the same course as my same character over and over, even if I'm getting better, I don't know if that's enough for me.
Yeah, where's the carrot on the stick?
Yeah, it's like, okay, I know I'm getting better, but like, at what point do I just feel good enough? Like Mario Golf, I've put 150 hours into Mario Golf on 3DS, and it was their challenge modes. Dude, the challenge modes are super hard. I got all 50 coins. I think there's like 5 I haven't gotten, but there's like 50, and then there's like bonuses, and like you've got to like use a power up to like freeze the water, and you like hit it off the waterfall and like through the hoop, like that stuff. Wow. Plus the character unlocks, plus the online tournaments, and then they had like this par 3 course where you had to go through 18 holes where you hit the ball in the green and made the putt. And if you missed it, you start all the way back over. And all of that together just kept me. I always felt like I always had something to do. And so far, I've only seen in Everybody's Golf, it's like you can play to get a new shirt and a new club, and it'll make you better, and you can beat your friends. And I'm like, I kind of need something. Like I need, it seems like it's like golf sim, and it's like I want a golf arcade game. Where's Hot Shots?
That's how I feel about Overwatch. I don't want skins.
Yeah, I mean, I love creating my own character, but it's like, how much am I going to do with that? Like, am I really going to play? Like, because I played Hot Shots 3, dude, for like 100 hours. I played Hot Shots on Vita. It's like the only game I played on Vita for like a year at Vita. And while I played other games, I played like 20 hours of Persona, and I played like, I played some stuff. I really only played Hot Shots. I was basically just playing Hot Shots the whole time. I don't know. I'm still a little worried. I'm a little worried on that one.
Well, I hope it, exceeds all of your expectations, because I know
it doesn't matter if it does or not. I've already bought it digitally. I can't get rid of it. Like, it's there. So, I've never been so like, it's because my hopes are so high.
Right.
I love the series so much. And I know it sounds stupid, because nobody should like golf as much as I do.
No, they shouldn't.
I really do. And I'm so excited. And it just seems like it's not what I want it to be.
Right.
Anyway.
Anything else on there you plan on playing?
No. I will do Matterfall, because I do everything Housemarque has, but I haven't got the Next Machina. And when I bought Edith Finch, I also bought something else. What else did I buy? I bought another game he was telling me to buy. Seth's been telling me to buy like 5 games, and I just bought 2 of them. Like, I've got games that I haven't played yet dude, I've got these 4 games that I'm going to play coming down the pike. I think I might get Sonic Mania at some point. It's previewing well. I'm
kind of tempted to get that one because I like Sonic. I've always liked Sonic.
It's a Black Friday game for me.
I feel the same way.
I'm going to get that game for like $20 on Black Friday.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. All right. Let's wrap this up. We're officially on SNES pre-order watch.
Yeah.
Somebody at Nintendo, I think it was a customer rep. I don't know. I'm not sure if they made an official statement. I saw like a chat. Like, I don't know if it was like something the company sent out overall, but it's definitely around Twitter. It's been out there for a couple of days. Apparently somebody at Nintendo somewhere said, hey, we're real excited that you're excited for this Super NES Mini, and we're going to have pre-orders live at the end of the month. So make sure you're following us on Twitter, and everybody else that tweets about it, like Wario64 and all that stuff. Make sure you sign up for alerts at Amazon and Walmart. If you want one, start doing your work now so you don't miss it when it comes, because apparently at some point here in the next 2 or 3 weeks, those orders are going to go up at some point in the day, and you better be ready, because there's just 10 million other people that are trying to do it.
Gonna break the internet.
And then the last news story that I had was Persona. Persona is back. There was a flood of announcements the day before yesterday, and I think they're interesting announcements. Atlas is bringing Persona 3 Dancing Moonlight, Persona 5 Dancing Starlight to PlayStation 4 and Vita. And then Persona Q2 is coming to 3DS. The Persona dancing games aren't coming to Switch or 3DS. And Persona Q2 isn't coming to Switch either.
Very weird, but
I don't.
Okay.
The only excuse that I have is install base and sequels. These are games that are running on engines that were already created for the platforms they're coming out for.
Right.
So you can't take a 3DS game, put it on Switch without doing some work to it. So they already have a 3DS engine, and they've already done Persona Q. Dude, I played Persona Q, and it was really fun. Dude, I think I quit because somebody was like, it's a 100-hour game. Like, seriously. Right. Not like grind it out, like 100-hour do everything. Like, to get to the end credits, like 100 hours.
Sounds about right for Persona.
Yeah. I was like, that's never going to happen. I'm just going to quit now. And then I played Persona 5, but I obviously, as I've said it before, that was not the best game to play after Zelda. It was like, here's everything, go do it. And then Persona was like, here's nothing, and you're gonna sit here for 5 hours. Like, it was not the game to play, so it kind of ruined my experience with it. It's still beautiful game, and the gifts and the trailers that came out with this Persona 5 game looks amazing. And the music in it is great. And I know Kyle's like super excited for it. So I might check them out. It's good to see that the Atlas is leaning into their little hit here with their Persona. Feels like a resurgence, right?
Yeah.
Persona 4 was like,
man, people love that game.
But it was like cultish, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't like, it was like, it was the IGNs and stuff like, you should play Persona 4, but it's still, it didn't like, it wasn't like top of the MPD charts, Persona 4, it was like where this now Persona feels like, it's like reaching Fire Emblem territory. It's like, here's 5 Persona games and it's everywhere. I'm waiting for the Persona mobile game to hit next.
I'm surprised there isn't already one.
Makes sense. That stuff's good stuff for mobile. So that's all the news that I had, man. You got anything else?
No, man. You pretty much covered everything that I have thought about or seen. Yeah. Destiny. Right. That's all.
Did you tell the lovely people where they can find you?
Yeah, you can find me on the Twitterverse at DevAtias. You can find me on PSN at DatNinjaDev2. Come holler at me, be my friend on PSN, play some Destiny, or just talk trash with me on Twitter.
There you go. And I'm Donnie Reese at Playing Nintendo on Twitter, representing the PSVG team. Definitely go to the website. We changed stuff up. Like I said, we're going to do some audio reviews. We're going to lean into some audio stuff this week, see what sticks. On our homepage now is a big Discord banner. Can't miss it. First thing you'll see. Just click the link. It's an automatic invite to our Discord server. You don't have to pay us anything or anything. Just come chat. And it seems like every day we have somebody new coming in. And I'm not going to throw anybody on the bus, but I am on a couple other Discord servers of popular podcasts, like mainstream podcasts. And unlike those, our hosts are there chatting all day. So it's like I go there and I never get to talk to those people. I just talk to the other people that listen to their shows, where we're just there. It's just us. And you can just come talk directly to us. So definitely come check us out. Remember, you can email us at podcastplaysomvideogames. Follow us on Twitter at PSVG. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/playsomvideogames. And now that we've reached the end here, folks, I hope you enjoyed some Donnie and Dev time.
Yeah, buddy.
And as always, boys and girls, remember, never stop gaming.